I was over in Australia during Easter, which was interesting. Interesting to note, they celebrate Easter the same way we do, commemorating the death and resurrection of Jesus by telling our children a giant bunny rabbit left chocolate eggs in the night. Now, I wonder why we're fucked up as a race. Anybody got any clues out there? Or where do you get this shit from, you know? Why those two things, you know? Why not goldfish left Lincoln logs in your sock drawer, you know? As long as we're making shit up, go hog wild, you know? At least a goldfish with a Lincoln log on its back going across your floor to your sock drawer has a miraculous connotation to it. Mummy, I woke up today and there was a Lincoln log in my sock drawer. That's the story of Jesus. Who comes up with this shit? I've read the Bible. I can't find the word bunny or chocolate anywhere in that fucking book.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Because it'll start Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The average person doesn't know anything about that. But for me, I gave sanctuary to one of the former warlocks out of all of that system. I gave him sanctuary for 3 months. So I gained a lot of insight into what they were doing and why they do it. But you cannot do occult stuff without that. That's at the top of the tree stuff. So any bloke who joins any secret society, every secret society is an occult thing. And when you go into what you call the membership certificate of a Masonic person, anyone who joins Freemasonry, at baby thing, their membership says teaching occult science. Well, hello, you don't have to be a village idiot to work out that if you're teaching occult science, when you graduate, you must graduate as an occultist. Would that be right or wrong?
Be right.
Well, that's what it says in their membership piece of paper. And the idiots can't even read it. Do you know why? Because on one side of it it's in English, on the other side it's in Latin. But the teaching occult science is in the Latin, but when it transfers to the English side, they leave that little bit out so the village idiot Mason can't read that I'm teaching occult science.
Yeah, they're teaching.
Because he can't read the Latin.
They're teaching about the Baal.
No, they're teaching occultism.
Yeah, which is secret.
And not only secret.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
but deadly.
But it's in churches everywhere. They're doing this in churches there, Michael, Brian.
Unfortunately...
Well, your churches have been...
That's a big statement, and on air, I wouldn't venture into that one.
Well, I've got to...
Because the church is likely to say, well, hang on, you better start to put up and sort that one out.
Yeah, well, I know, but I know you've got to have evidence and stuff like that, but...
That's a pre-requirement for a courtroom session.
Oh, I know. But the churches, what have they done? If they're so godly, right, and heavenly, why the fact is we are uncivilized, we're at war, we have
Jack,
children being sacrificed...
What is your declaration at war?
I'll
give it to you.
What?
When they changed in that act I mentioned in West Australia, Acts Amendment, Repeal Courts and Legal Practice Act, that act changed the coat of arms in West Australia. That's the declaration of war, when you change the coat of arms. So they've actually declared the actual declaration within the act. But nobody knows who they're at war with.
What
they're in war with is a foreign power. So suddenly Section 44 of the Commonwealth Constitution kicks in. Anyone who is in obedience to a foreign power can't sit in the Commonwealth Parliament. So now suddenly you're in the big league.
Exactly.
But in relation to Freemasonry, is it a foreign power? Did it originate out of Australia? Or is it being worked from outside of Australia into Australia? Because if it's been worked outside of Australia into Australia, it's a foreign power. And then suddenly, is it running under the multinationals or the corporations? But if it is under a corporational structure, it's got to sit under Section 51 of the Commonwealth Constitution. And if it does with the Crown out, it's committing a criminal offence operating as a company with the Crown out. There it is. And that's the issue the courts are all trying to hide.
And that's what you're going to try and get it exposed.
Well, you know what the High Court is? The High Court is a corporated company.
Yeah, it's a corporation, yeah. I've heard
But
that.
it says that in its own act, the High Court Act.
Well, Australia's a corporation in itself.
No, I know what you were saying, and
Yeah.
I don't want to drift too far away into that one at the moment.
No.
But I want to say that the Queensland election, the electorate itself, with not understanding everything that we're talking about,
Yeah.
just simply said, we know you're doing something absolutely wrong, but the problem is the one they voted in will do just as much wrong, because they're already committed to conceal not only the Brigalow Corporation, which reached into a certain act in Queensland and took the Crown out and put itself in. That in itself is an act of treason. But everybody knows in Queensland, particularly at that high level, what Brigalow is doing. And what Brigalow is doing is transferring every land title of every Aussie into the United States US Securities Commission. How many people work in the US Securities Commission, Jack?
Don't know.
Say one.
All right, one?
Yeah,
All right, one.
one. You'll find that on that documentary, Inside Job. There's a movie called Too Big to Fail.
Yeah, that sounds...
Those two go together.
Those
Now, when you
lovely
watch
buzzwords.
those two, somewhere in a US congressional meeting or whatever, a congressional man is asking the sole employee of the US Securities Commission, are you it?
That's it.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jack, how big's that?
That's too big to fail. I mean, he's one person.
Well, the US Securities Commission, he said, are you the person? I turn the lights on and I turn the lights off.
Bloody Earth Hour.
But that's the US Securities Commission.
That's
so
it.
in actual fact, it means it's somebody somewhere else, the real one. So the US Securities Commission is in actual fact the front. But that's the one they're dumping every Australian land title, and people sort of, oh, mine's down the bank or mine's under my bed. That means that's bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
Was it lodged at the titles office? Of course it is. And did the titles office transfer it through the Treasury Corporation in the state? They apparently are doing that. And is it landing in the United States? Yes, it is. Is that fraud on the people in Australia?
Yes, it
Jack,
is.
say yes or no.
It is a fraud. It's the biggest fraud there is.
Okay, then how are the people going to activate that?
Well,
First off, they better be telling their local politicians, you tell me which act took the Crown out. They can do that by letter or whatever, and we want to know. I had a federal politician come to me. That's pretty dumb on the federal politician's part. And I just simply said, are you aware that the Crown was taken out of West Australia? Now, when you say that, you have to then produce the act that shows it.
Yeah, and that's what I've done, Brian. I've put it out there, and I had this lawyer just drill me and say, well, the Governor-General would have known about this in the state of Western Australia. And I said,
There's no Governor-General in the state of West Australia. That's the Governor.
It's the Governor, sorry, yeah.
It's the Governor who did the enactment to it and substituted himself.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's what...
Section 9 of the Supreme Court Act, which is amended in that act, it says the Queen Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II is removed and substituted by the Governor.
Well, that's what it is.
And then he signs it off as the enactment. So the Governor has said to the Queen, out the window, into the alley, and then he pulls the window down, puts the blind down. He's got to actually, because she'll be barking a bit out there in the alley.
Hey, but how about
and
this?
Then he goes and sits on the seat.
Well, that's it. Well, that's what happened to the...
And then the Aussie puts on the headphones, reads the novel, and says, "What polling booth are you sending me to?"
Oh,
how bloody stupid!
Are
That's
they...
why the Aussies are... Nelly said dickhead.
Oh, that's all right.
But I shouldn't say that on radio.
Oh, that's all right. You've already...
I'll keep it to Village Idiot.
Well, Village Idiot, dickhead, it's sort of same sort of branch.
But they can wake up.
But
and they also, they're all becoming aware.
Well, they are with their iPods.
That's
and
even
their
crap
iPad.
to me.
I know. And
awareness is, if the bloody tree's going to fall on your head, move.
Exactly. It's
Which means an action has to come out of after awareness.
That's exactly right. It's like if you're throwing a bowling ball down a bunch of stairs, you could be the person who could just step out of the way, you could scream and get hit.
They're in big trouble.
Why?
The Aussie is in big trouble.
Oh, they're huge
They
trouble.
haven't got a damn clue, and neither do they care that this is gathering around them.
Well, look at that premiere that happened in Queensland. I don't think he's got a clue what he's in for.
Oh, Jack, he will get a copy of the legal notice that went to all of them prior to the election.
You're going to give him one?
What will he do when he gets it after the election?
He'll throw it to his
Because aren't they all talking about, oh, gee, they conned you, they tricked you, they did whatever. But if he doesn't reveal this after this, what's he doing? And in the instance, he's sitting in an invalid seat. It's invalid.
Brian, we have to wrap it up, mate.
Thank you, Jack.
Elijah's challenge.net. You can go there and you can contact Brian through that way. He's got heaps of information.
There's a post office box there, and I much prefer it. I don't like emails. They're hopeless. Most of the times you just delete them because there's a heap of rubbish.
Yep.
But post office boxes are good. And there's a post office box there, post office box 800,
Yep.
Werribee. WERRIBEE, postcode 3030. Why is that important, Jack?
It's because because it's important, because the fact is that Brian can get contact and we can all communicate and all the thing and get the Village Idiot to have his head out of the friggin' headlights.
Yeah, but why is Werribee important?
Oh, because it's Julie Gillard's electric.
That's where her office is, mate. It's the federal seat of Laylaw.
Yep.
Who's Laylaw?
Laylaw is the...
Terry Laylaw, the one who got charged for treason back in the Eureka Stockade and went on to be a politician.
That's it, sorry, Brian. That's it. And that's where are you still are you going to go for the next election?
Oh, Jack, please, let me just go from week to week.
We need you in there, Brian, again.
No, I don't want to be a politician, but I certainly won't leave these politicians sit on their very comfortable asses.
There you go. That's Brian Shaw. He will not let go. He's the working person. He gets out there and does it. And he's named himself as a farmer, which he is a farmer, and he's trying to wake up or helping us, the Village Idiots. And this song's called Rabbit in Your Headlights, which explains what we are. Brian, thanks again.
Thank you, Jack.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.